Hello, hello, and welcome to Saturday Sound Bites. I'm Veronica V. Sofer, and I'm your host of Saturday Sound Bites. We come to you every Saturday on Facebook, and we also have our podcast available for you to download. We talk all things visibility strategy, public relations, advertising, marketing, branding, you name it. Today, we're going to be talking about social media and how it can support your business. And I've got a phenomenal guest. But I want to do a little bit of housekeeping first. If you are watching on Facebook, please make sure you let us know where you're watching from. And if you're watching on replay, then hashtag replay so that my guests and I can answer any questions you might have or get back to you. And thank you for tuning into the show. If you are listening on a podcast, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. We want to make sure that you don't miss any episodes as they become available. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. I've got a great guest, and the information you are going to learn is going to really help you with your business and your visibility strategy. So let's bring her up on stage. Now we have Katie Brinkley, who is joining us. Yay, there she is. Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show today.
I'm so excited that you're here. I love talking about social media. I love talking to people who really have their hands in the work and who have tips that are going to help us learn and how to grow. So I'm so excited about this conversation. So Katie, let's go ahead and talk about what it is that you do exactly, how you got started, and what brought you into this space.
Yeah, so I am a social media strategist, and a lot of people say, "Well, wait, what does that mean exactly?" And I developed the whole strategy behind your social media presence. So, how often are you going to be posting? What channel should you be posting on? Making sure that the posts align with your ads campaigns that you're doing. So, I developed the whole strategy behind your social media. A little bit about me. I've been doing this for a really long time. I have started doing social media back in the days of MySpace. So I've been doing this for over 17 years. Yeah, I know. And not just posting. I actually started helping businesses back in the days of MySpace. And obviously, MySpace was, if you guys remember, it was a lot of bands. And so I was helping bands promote themselves and get their music onto radio stations. I wanted to be a sports reporter. And so I worked at the college radio station and I had started making a lot of connections. MySpace came out and I again wanted to be that connector and get these bands onto more radio stations because when I did, they would give me free tickets to their shows.
Perfect.
So I mean, as a college girl, I mean, it was absolutely a perfect little like side hustle for me because I understood it very quickly, and I wanted to get the free tickets to shows, and so I got a job as a sports reporter. I was working in radio. I was always kind of doing social media on the side. When Facebook went public back in 2006, because it used to just be for schools, I started helping local businesses get their business up on social media, and now I worked on the corporate side. So I worked for the Colorado Rockies television station, and I did their media buying, script writing, and social media. And I've had my own company now for about 4.5 years, and I specialize in helping people, entrepreneurs, real estate agents, home organizers with their social media strategy, and getting them basically teaching them in a few weeks what's taken me over 15 years to learn so that they can have a successful social media presence. So that was kind of the Cliff Notes version, but
I love
yeah,
it.
I've been doing social media for a long time.
When you start out with, I got into the business on MySpace, you've got me hooked because especially working with online entrepreneurs, a lot of people didn't really start understanding the power of social media until Facebook. But there was an evolution before Facebook. And the fact
Mhm.
that you were able to be a part of that and develop the growth is just fascinating to me. And I love that there are probably people watching and listening who don't know what MySpace looked like.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically like your own little mini landing page. You could put music on it and say what you like. I mean, like it was definitely the introduction to social media that it is today. But again, it was mostly bands, and there weren't any ads. So I mean, you just really had to network. And like you said, I saw it early on, like how fast connections could be made through this new
Mhm.
platform. So once I kind of realized that, I went all in on it, and tried to figure out, okay, how can I maximize this brand's presence, or how can I maximize my presence to be the go-to for this industry? So
I
it's
love
it's
it.
crazy how things have changed, and there's so many social media channels out there now. And who would have guessed that it would be the behemoth that it is today?
It's so true, so true. And I loved I heard someone say that about Clubhouse recently, that it's like the wild wild west, and that's really what MySpace was back then. And I know that you're so engaged in all of those areas, but to have that many years of experience is truly phenomenal. So tell us a little bit about some of the mistakes that you see businesses, whether brick and mortar or entrepreneurs on the online space making in social media, because you've got years and years of experience. So you've got that great perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes that small businesses are making with their social media. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see is that they are trying to be on every single social media platform, every single
Mhm.
social media channel. And you don't need to be on every single social media channel known to mankind. If you think about it, different social media platforms are attractive to different demographics, to different
Mhm.
niches. And so if you know who your ideal client and customer is, go all in on that one platform. I'm just gonna talk about Instagram because it's one of the larger platforms. But if you think about Instagram and you're like, okay, well, my ideal client is on Instagram, so I'm gonna post there. Okay, well, there is the feed. So, I mean, you can post to the feed, but then there's also Instagram stories, which are those little 15-second clips and the circles up at the top. And then there's also now IGTV, so that's long form video content. And now, oh, yeah, now there's Instagram Live. So you can go live by yourself or with another person on Instagram. And now they just introduced another area that you can post to, which is Reels. And those are kind of the TikTok knockoff, the short form video. That are full of information in 15 seconds. And if you decide that, okay, Instagram's where I'm going to be spending my time, that's 5 different ways that you need to be posting to that platform
Mhm.
to be seen appropriately, because people are going to consume their information differently. So I mean, some people might be scrolling through the feed, but some people might only spend time in stories. Other people might only be in the explore feature. So I mean, if you are on one social media platform and you go all in on it, you that's really all you have time for, especially as a small business owner. I mean, unless you're someone like me who really likes social media, um, you don't want to spend all day on it. And I
Mhm.
think that that's where, if you go to just one channel and be awesome on it and speak exactly to your potential clients and customers, and then you can add in more as you go. But I think that having that strong presence exactly where your ideal clients and customers are is what's going to help you be successful.
Yeah, I love that. And I can tell you from experience, it is frustrating when you feel like you're starting to get some momentum in one space and then you get distracted and start going over here to another platform and you're not getting the same momentum and then you've lost the momentum back where you and that platform you were originally. So I'm so glad you said that because I wasn't really cognizant of that dividing my time like that wasn't helpful. And so that's certainly something last time we talked that I started implementing in my business and I feel like it's made a difference. So I love that that's a really important tip for people to hear and understand.
Yeah, and I think that too, like, people think like, oh, okay, well, we need to be on Facebook, Twitter, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, if you're going to be posting the exact same thing on every single platform, then it really is just kind of white noise. So
Mm,
if you if you're able to put out, if you're, like I said, I'm just going to stick with Instagram, but if you go all in on Instagram and have a strong presence there, the followers will come to you and the right followers will be there. So don't worry about the numbers. Stick with your strategy and putting out the best content you possibly can for that specific audience, because those ones that are going to come back and buy from you, and they're going to refer you to their friends.
yeah, that's so true. I'm so glad you said that because I think a lot of people feel obligated to hop on whatever's really popular and then they abandon what was really working for them. So I think that's great. What are some other mistakes that you're seeing in this space?
Lack of consistency and a lack of a strategy. And I think it kind of goes back to that last mistake. As a lot of businesses are jumping onto any and every social media platform and just throwing out few random posts here and there, and then they disappear for days and weeks or months at a time. And when you're just posting willy-nilly like that, it'd be kind of like if you walked into a room full of strangers, right? And you started asking people some questions, and then you turned around and ran out the door while they were trying to give you answers and talk to you, which it seems silly, right? And so if you have an actual strategy and start talking about your business, ask the questions, respond to the comments. And I mean, like, don't just jump right in and start, posting a bunch of random posts and start doing ads and there's no strategy behind it. So if you don't already have a strategy with some engagement and a consistent presence, on one social media platform, do you really expect to have a random one-time paid ad offering a service or product to drive a ton of quality leads and clients to your business?
Mhm.
It's not going to happen. And so if you can develop the whole strategy where the left hand knows what the right hand is doing, that's what's going to help you grow on that platform and have an organic and paid engagement that's going to be successful.
Mhm.
um, I think that a lot of businesses just overwhelm themselves and they think, oh, I haven't posted to Instagram for a while, I better post something. And then it's like a picture of their dog, which, okay, if you're a pet groomer, great, but how can you work that picture of your dog into the rest of the overall strategy? The second someone lands on your page, they instantly need to know what you do, who you serve, and how you can help them. And if
Mhm.
that's not visible through the pictures and the captions that you have on your page, you're going to lose that potential new lead, that
Mhm.
potential new follower. And so if you have that strategy where I'm all about scheduling content and using a content scheduler, a content calendar, so that like, okay, well, this week I'm talking about X, and how am I going to find photos and captions that are all going to align with this message? And when you do that, you don't need to be sitting down every day to do it. I'm all about like finding an hour. It can be at like 9 p.m. on Sunday if that's the only time that you have available. But if you sit down and devote that time to your social media, one, you're going to feel relief because, oh, now I don't have to worry about posting for the rest of the week. And two, all of your clients and followers are going to be like, oh, I know exactly what's coming. And I know how
Right.
she can help me. So I think that that's one of the biggest mistakes, is that a lot of businesses just kind of post willy-nilly without a strategy or any sort of consistency.
Mhm. And I think that's perfect in the conversation of what makes up your visibility strategy, because social media is a component of it. So what else are you doing as part of your visibility? Are you being a guest on a podcast like this? Are you speaking at an online summit or a virtual summit? It doesn't have to just be your social media posts. It's all of the things that you're doing. Did you write a blog? And have you shared it? Are you using the keywords? And so I love the idea of devoting an hour or two to make sure all of those things are aligned and that they're complementing each other, and you use strategy a whole lot, and that's so important. And we have that conversation all the time in this business. You can't just go out there and start throwing things to the wall and seeing what
Yeah.
sticks. It's got to be thought out, it's got to be aligned, and you have to know what your goals and objectives are. And I had the same conversation with the client last night, and we talked about what the goals are for the next quarter, and then the next quarter, and then what's the next quarter going to look like. And it doesn't have to be completely fleshed out, but just the idea that there's a strategy and a blueprint and a path towards something is super helpful. So how do people start with the strategy? Because some folks aren't even aware of how to even begin.
Yeah. So one of the best things to start, like if you're like, all right, well, so now I need to have a strategy for my social media. The best place to start is with a scheduler. So there's a lot of schedulers out there, guys. There's and CoSchedule and Agora posts and Planoly and Planable. I mean, like, there's so many. And I strongly recommend to do your research on what you think that the best tool is for you. A great platform to kind of do comparison shopping is G2. That's where I do a lot of comparison, so you can see like what the prices are and what other reviewers have to say about it. So that's a great place to just do the comparison shopping. Now, and I wish that they had affiliate links, but they don't. So this is just a free plug for the platform that I use. I use Loomly, Loomly, why. I find that to be a fantastic scheduler because it's very simple interface. So what day do you want to have it be? What platforms are you going to post on? Okay, what's the generic content going to be? And then from there in step 4, you can really specific, like if you want to post on Facebook and Instagram, how are you going to make those posts just slightly different depending on the audience that you have on each channel? So Loomly is the one that I use, and I think that it's really that's the first step, is finding a scheduler and look at your insights of the social media platform that you want to go all in on. Be like, okay, well, it's going to be Instagram. So now you know what days your audience is most active, and then just schedule out the content for that week, and you'll be set, because it's only, I swear, you guys can get your social media done in as little as an hour a week. It's just devoting the time to sit down and think about it. So, you were saying, if you have a blog, yeah, talk about the blog. There's, you can repurpose that blog 3 times. I mean, you can have it be a carousel post. You can be talking about it in IGTV. And then you could do an Instagram live on it. There's your 3 content posts for the week. So, and it's all based off of that blog that you've already worked so hard on, or you've already had written. And I think that once you have that content calendar, like that scheduler set up and ready to go, that's when you're going to be like, oh, okay, so this isn't too bad. It's very easy to just figure it out, and then now I can get back to my business and back to what I am most passionate about. Not everyone's, like I said, into social media like me, so not everyone wants to spend all week doing it.
Well, and the idea that you can repurpose is a time saver. And I love when people, you can't really tell it's been repurposed, but it looks familiar, because what that does is it reemphasizes the point of the message. It looks different. It's being talked about in a different way, maybe with some different visuals, but it's the same nugget of information. And I feel like people aren't taking advantage of that often enough. So the idea that you can use one piece of content and really branch it out is just so rich, and it's going to do so much for your business, quite honestly.
Yeah, and people, I think that they are like, well, why would I want to share that blog 3 times? Aren't people going to be sick of it? And it's all about the presentation. I mean, and also people might not be on social media every single day. They might have missed it. So, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, like if you get 10% of your followers to see your post, like that's pretty darn good. I mean, that's about the average of people that are going to be seeing it. And so if you can get them those 10%, but then maybe on Wednesday, you show it a different way and you get a different 10%, or you could even still get that same audience and they're seeing it a different way. And then it's starting to click as to what message you're trying to put out. So I think that there's nothing wrong with repurposing it. It's all about how you do it.
Yeah, no, I love that. In fact, when we get done today, that's what I'm going to focus on, because you've got my mind rolling here. And so I know that there's some content that I need to repurpose. And I don't spend enough time on Instagram, unless I'm on Clubhouse, which is way too much. But I'm going to do that because it's addicting. And it's so interesting how we get distracted from one platform to the next. But if your core is on Facebook or your core is on Instagram, the idea of focusing on that is really important, because if your objective is to garner new business or get new leads, then that's your funnel. I mean, that's your opportunity right there. You're missing it.
Exactly. And, you talked about Clubhouse too, and that's a whole nother social media platform to even talk about and think about.
Yeah. No, that one will be interesting to see. And I know they're still in beta. So we'll see what happens, because maybe we'll end up talking about them one day as if it was the new greatest thing ever. So we'll see what happens, but I really enjoy it. Tell us, is there any other mistakes that you see out there, or any other tips that you think businesses need to be talking about or thinking about? Oh, I think
Yes.
there you go.
So one of the last, oh, I'm back. Sorry. The last mistake that I see businesses making is not being social on social media. Guys, it seems silly saying it, but it's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. And I feel like if you've ever been to a dinner party and you found yourself trapped in a conversation with someone that, won't stop talking about him or herself or like about what they do, and you keep looking around, like kind of hoping that like your spouse or significant other or friend would come to your rescue, but no such luck happens. And this person just keeps going on and on and on and on about his life story. And they won't ask you a single question about yourself or what you do. I mean, like we all hate those conversations. And that's what so many businesses and realtors are doing on social media, so
Mhm.
I think they're constantly talking
Yes.
to the people, and they're trying to sell to them. They're not asking any questions or actually trying to form a community. They're being that annoying guy at the party, that we all try to avoid. And so I think that that's one of the biggest things that I try to teach people is to stick around, stick around, answer the questions. I mean, on Instagram, if you don't have, I mean, like, and that's another thing. I think a lot of businesses think that they need to post like 10 times a day. And man, if you have a team of 20 that's just strictly devoted to repurposing content for social media, then you go for it and you post 10 times a day. But not all of us are like that. A lot of small
Right.
business owners, we are the Jack and the Jill of all trades. And so um, if you can spend your time with your content calendar and your scheduler at the beginning of the week, and then from there, the rest of the week, just spend time engaging, be
Mhm.
conversational, comment on other people's posts, answer people who have commented on yours. I see that all the time where someone will leave a comment and no one's ever answered them. And it's kind of like, well, that person spent time commenting on your post to engage with you, and you just ignored them. You turned around and walked away.
Mhm.
So I think that bring the social back to your social media. Try and form that community around your brand, and people are going to want to be around you because they know that you answer. They know that you are there. Someone's on the other end of the phone, and
Mhm.
that's what's really going to help you find your people, find those loyal customers and clients that are going to be your biggest brand advocates because they feel like they have the inside track to you and your company.
Mhm. And I love that. Bring the social back to social media. I've seen that way too many times. I feel like you'll see a post that says, post but don't ghost. And it happens so often. And I think there's a missed opportunity for people to really engage. And I'm thinking to myself, if you have time to sit there and copy and paste something, but you don't have time to congratulate someone or thank someone, then you probably don't need to be in that space. You probably just need to move
Yes.
on to somewhere else.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I mean, like, and that's where kind of coming full circle, if you only have time for one social media platform, be amazing on that one so you can build that community. You can answer comments, you can post on other people's, or comment on other people's posts. So that's really what I try to teach my clients and my coaching clients and people that I help with social media, because it can be overwhelming, and
Yes.
it doesn't need to be if you do it strategically.
No, I agree. I love that. So speaking of, how do people get to work with you? Tell us a little bit about your business and your firm and how it's set up and how it is you help people with their social media.
Yeah, so I offer group coaching, which is 8 weeks long, and we start with like Facebook and Instagram, and then I also offer one-on-one coaching where it's we look at all of your insights and decide like, okay, well, where is your ideal client and customer, and what platforms make the most sense for you to spend your time on, and we learn how to do everything from like setting yourself up as a business account, how to read your insights, how to develop beautiful graphics in Canva, how to create a content calendar and a scheduler that'll work for you. So it's really it's an hour a week, and it's just trying to get that repetition that you can be successful on social media in as little as an hour a week. You just need to devote the time to it. And so yeah, if you're interested in learning how to be more strategic and grow your social media, that is the best way through group or one-on-one coaching, and you can check that out at my website, which you just popped up.
Yep. Yep. And for those of you listening on the podcast, it's nextstepssocialcommunications.com, and it will be posted in the show notes as well. So you can definitely reach out to Katie. Do you have a team that works with you, or are you a one-person shop?
It's me, and then I also have a podcast, and I have a virtual assistant that helps me with my show notes and all that for my podcast. But I'm a one woman show, so you would get the opportunity to work with directly me, and it's like I said, I've been doing social media for a long time, and I'm extremely passionate about it. And I am all about trying to be smarter with it and work smarter, not harder, and still get success and see results. So yeah, I love social media. I could talk about it for hours, but this podcast went by so fast.
It does. 30 minutes does go by so fast. Well, Katie, I got to tell you, the content you've shared with us is fantastic. And I literally feel like I have homework to do as soon as we are done with this, because there's so many opportunities for all of us to grow our businesses. And it looks like we've had some great viewer content or comments here. I think the content was super rich. Guys, if you get an opportunity, go check out Katie's website, listen to her podcast. She has just got some great gems. Listen, if this person was the thing on MySpace and then transitioned into Facebook and now is a powerhouse on Clubhouse, this is a person you need to be working with. This is who you need to get your tips from, because she knows exactly what she's talking about. So, Katie, thank you so much for joining me. I enjoyed the conversation, and I loved all the information you provided.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a pleasure, and it was a fantastic show. So thanks again.
Great. All right. Well, guys, again, Katie is available to chat. Make sure that you check out her website. You can reach out to her there. And thank you for tuning in to Saturday Sound Bites. We had a great conversation today. If you're listening on the replay, make sure you let us know by putting #replay in the comments on Facebook. And if you're listening on our podcast, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, because we want to make sure that you don't miss any episodes. And with that, I'm going to wish you a great day with lots of positive energy and light. And we will talk to you again next week. Thanks so much.